So yes, I am just now finishing season 3 of Stranger Things, so lo and behold, here we are to talk about it yet again. And this edition of TV Thoughts is going to be kind of in a different format than you're used to. I'm just going to go down the list of all the big plot points of season 3, which is quite a ton. And I'm going to go through each one bullet style, and I'm going to talk about which ones I liked, which ones I didn't like, and all that jazz. If you're a new viewer to the channel, thank you so much for stopping by, and I really hope you enjoy your stay. If you enjoy discussing all new things in cinema and television, all things geeky and what have you, why not consider becoming a subscriber and tap on that bell as well? That way you don't miss another second of the action over here. Because trust me, if you enjoy discussing all these topics and entertainment, this channel is the place to be. Hit that thumbs up as well, because this only helps us continue to grow this amazing community. I'm looking to hopefully hit 2,000 subscribers by the end of the year. You guys are killing it so far. So we pick up in the summer of 1985 in Hawkins, Indiana, and there's a newly opened Starcourt Mall, which is just such an incredible design here. Now this is a show that's loved delving into the cheesiness of the 1980s and being set in the 1980s. The movie theater in this mall is showing stuff like Dawn of the Dead and Back to the Future. There are lots of scenes where characters will be inside the theater during Back to the Future just analyzing it. But alright, what's going on with our characters here? Our favorite Jim Hopper, played once again by David Harbour, disapproves of Mike and Eleven's relationship. So this kind of prompts him to intervene in a really funny way. And I really dig the father-daughter dynamic of Hopper and Eleven in general. Both performers are once again fantastic. David Harbour and Millie Bobby Brown, both. And I absolutely adore the friendship that grows out of this breakup that Mike and Eleven have this season between Eleven and Max, played by Sadie Sink. Max was a cool character that was introduced in season 2, and she grew a lot on me this time around. Sadie Sink in general, also a great performer. Loved her relationship with Lucas as well. The jabs those two trade as boyfriend and girlfriend are interesting, to say the least. Speaking of boyfriend and girlfriend, yeah, I'm gonna get right to the stuff I didn't like. Mike and Eleven's relationship, I've never been the biggest fan of. And a lot of this felt soap opera-y to me. It pains me to say this, because season 1, Mike was such a cool character. I love Finn Wolfhard in the role. And it's not like Finn Wolfhard is doing a bad job in season 3 by any stretch. But the writing for Mike makes him seem like such a cuck this time around. Which proves my point. Mike and Eleven's friendship did not need to be romantic in any stretch. Which, I get it, yeah, they're bound to explore that somewhere, and they're becoming of age where they start to kind of get those feelings towards each other, little crushes here and there. But do they really need to go all out? I don't think so. I mentioned Hopper being so incredibly pissed off this entire season, and David Harbour is fantastic, but he's also exploring a new relationship of his own with the grieving Joyce Byers, played once again by Winona Ryder. Joyce is considering moving out of Hawkins with Jonathan and Will, but magnetic disruptions are leading her to believe that the Upside Down has returned, so she enlists Hopper's help in uncovering the truth. This was a really compelling part of the season as well. It really felt like the local government was against our heroes in every facet. Which brings me into another fantastic surprise about season 3. In general, Stranger Things, like I said, loves paying tribute to the 1980s and all the entertainment forms that we got in the 80s, which includes bringing back famous actors from the 80s to play guest starring roles. We got Sean Astin in season 2 playing Bob, Joyce's now deceased ex-boyfriend. Spoiler for season 2. But this time around, we got Cary Elwes as the mayor of Hawkins. Oh man, did I hate this guy. And that's really indicative of Cary Elwes' talent, because this is such a charming performer. I know a lot of people love him in The Princess Bride and the wit he brings to that, but this is like assholey smug wit. And I love the fact that Cary Elwes took this role, because he got to explore a completely different side of that wit. And he nails it. He knocks it out of the park. I love the scene where Hopper just beats the ever-loving crap out of him in his office as he's planning for the 4th of July. Very reminiscent of the mayor character in Jaws planning this big 4th of July celebration. Despite the shark coming around that's eating people, nobody in Hawkins believes any of this tragedy going on involving the Mind Flayer or the Upside Down. And it's a fantastic dynamic that only helps you get behind our heroes even more. Will Byers is once again experiencing premonitions from the Upside down despite 11's closing of the original gate that led to his disappearance all the way back in season 1. He thinks the Mind Flayer is still alive and back in Hawkins because he's getting those shivers up his spine, goosebumps are trickling up his arm. Not to mention Noah Schnapp is really great in this series as well. Nancy Wheeler is a character who I've always been behind. I'm a big fan of Natalia Dyer. Her getting together with Jonathan was a little bit iffy for me, mainly because remember, Jonathan still creeped on Nancy in season 1. Don't forget. These two have a lot more of a mellow plotline in season 3 compared to the predecessors, but there's still a lot of relatable stuff going on. They're holding down jobs fresh out of high school that they don't necessarily fit into. Nancy is getting hounded in the office, which is very unsettling in its own right, and she portrays that brilliantly. But let's get into the big cheesy facet of this season that everybody loves, the Russian spies. Like seriously, Russian spies? There's a character in here, a big brute that's very reminiscent of the Terminator. It's very easy to see what decade this is set in. And this infiltration of Hawkins is being investigated by none other than Steve and Dustin, two of my favorite characters that came out of season 2. I loved seeing these two together again. And I love one of the big jokes of Dustin coming back from summer camp claiming that he has a girlfriend. And then everybody's looking at Dustin like, no, you don't. Steve especially is just so skeptical of this. But it's never in the sense of like, yeah, they're bullying Dustin because how could he ever get a girlfriend? They're just pulling his leg. And it's a really, really nice dynamic, especially when it's revealed that his girlfriend Susie actually does exist, which is just one of so many amazing payoffs of season 3 that I absolutely loved. The finale this season, I'll just cut right to the point. Season 3's finale, I think, might be the best Stranger Things episode I've seen yet. Because all these payoffs coming together and all these character dynamics and all this amazing stuff, the awesomeness of the action. It's like I'm watching an epic grand finale of a 4th of July fireworks show. But getting back to Dustin, this reveal is so sweet because him and Susie sing a little song that they learned together in camp over the radio and all that, and Susie is just coaxing him into singing the song and he really doesn't want to. Some people might have been surprised by Gaten Matarazzo's pipes, but considering his Broadway background, that song sounded freaking beautiful, and the harmonizing in there, I loved it. And in this same little circle right here, you have this little girl named Erica, who is absolutely hilarious, just going into this ice cream parlor that Steve and Robin, who I'll get to in a second, she just goes into this ice cream parlor and she's just such this bratty little kid. Never annoying, though. She was really, really darling and fun to watch. But let's get to Robin. Okay, this is a new introduction into the season, and Robin is a heavy favorite of my girlfriend. And just seeing how her character progresses and just how great Maya Hawke is in this role, it's easy for me to love her too. How her friendship with Steve pans out by the finale is so sweet. It's not exactly what you would expect. The reversal is certainly there, and Steve is hurt by this at first, but my word, just the recovery and the fact that these two are still able to laugh while they're all hopped up on drugs. Of course, provided by the Russian spies and everything like that. Absolutely loved it. That whole inner circle of Steve, Dustin, Erica, and Robin, great highlight of season 3 for me. But you also have a very ominous turn from Dacre Montgomery as Billy, who is given a lot more to do this season. He is basically possessed by the Mind Flayer, and our heroes have no choice but to battle Billy, the other possessed victims, all these exploding rats everywhere. And how they conquer this thing is one of the big highlights of this finale, and it's really, really exciting to watch. The only thing is, this kind of felt like a series finale more so than a season finale, because with the choices they make and the people that they presumably kill off, and I'll get to why I say presumably in a second, it really does feel like it's shutting the door on the whole series. Which brings me to their decision to presumably kill off Hopper, who is a crowd favorite. My god, I watched this finale with my girlfriend who has seen this episode multiple times. She was still crying her eyes out. And I'm not gonna lie, it really affected me too. The letter that Hopper wrote to 11 is just so freaking sad. This whole monologue of people moving away out of Hawkins and the hell that it's raising in there, it really feels like it's closing the door on the whole series. But then you get an after credits scene in the finale with the Russians torturing some bloke down underground, and they're discussing an American that's being held up in one of their cells. I think that's Hopper. This is coming from someone who hasn't seen season 4 yet, but that's just my guess. Because after sitting through that episode and then taking a couple days to let this sit, I'm like, they didn't show Hopper be blown up into smithereens like all these other blokes were. So would these writers really have the balls to kill off a crowd favorite like that? Trust me, David Harbour got really busy around the time season 3 came out just because everybody saw his performance and they were like, oh my god, this is a gem. We need him in all of our stuff. But I think he's coming back. I think we're going to see more of him. But my word, I mean, season 3 was so enjoyable from start to finish. It's a toss-up between this and season 1 for me. I'm really, really loving Stranger Things. I can't believe it took me this long to really get into this show. I'm going to give season 3 an A. Absolutely stoked to check out season 4 and finally conclude the series with season 5, which is still in pre-production if I'm not mistaken. But let me know what you thought of season 3 down in the comment section below. Who is your favorite character? For me, it's a toss-up between Steve, Dustin, and Hopper if I had to put a third one in there. If you want to keep discussing all things geeky, like all things Stranger Things, one more time, do consider becoming a subscriber and tap on that bell so you don't miss another new upload. Hit that thumbs up as well. You guys are killing it. Let's see if we can get to 2,000 by 2024. Guys, y'all are the best. Stay tuned for more exciting videos very, very soon. I will be finishing up the Rocky franchise and the build up to Creed 3, which comes out next Friday at the time of recording. I've got both Creed movies still to go rewatch and then obviously record the videos for you. But guys, y'all are the best. Thank you so much again for tuning in. With all that being said, Back Talk, commence!